This is INCRadio, DCEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesianicristo.
Good evening, good morning, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to another episode of INCRadio Mountain States. Hello, everyone. I am Sister Marie Dumaya, broadcasting live from Denver, Colorado. It is September 14th, 5:03 p.m. Mountain Daylight Time. But again, over there in Nevada and in Pacific Daylight Time, it is still September 14th, Saturday, but it is 4:03 p.m. Pacific Daylight Time. And of course, in the Philippines, it is now Sunday, September 14th, 7:03 in the morning. So thank you so much for tuning in wherever you are from. Actually, with that, because I said it, the Philippines, Sister Maria Oka is greeting us all the way from the Philippines, from Caloocan North. So thank you so much for tuning in. And Philippines, wherever you are, but magandang umaga Pilipinas if you are there. But again, thank you everyone for tuning in. Team Live Chat, thank you for being there with us. And today, we're so excited because we will be talking about cultivating a strong work ethic. Last week, we talked about effective leadership skills. So today, we will be talking about strong work ethic. Is success about talent or about the daily grind? In this episode, we will dive into that, into cultivating a strong work ethic and explore the habits and mindset that leads to long-term success. Learn how setting clear goals, practicing discipline, and overcoming procrastination, which can be a problem, can transform your approach to work. So please join us and stay tuned for actionable tips and insights to help us build a reliable and resilient work ethic in both our personal and professional life. So we're so excited to be here. And of course, we have guests here with us. With that, we'll start with Brother Manny Nicola from Colorado Springs, Colorado. Hello, Brother Manny.
Hello, Mountain States, to all our brethren who are attending this program, as well as our friends, and to those in other venues as well. Thank you for having us.
Yes, thank you so much, Brother Manny, for being here with us. I'm sure everyone knows Brother Manny as well. You know, he's been joining us as well, right? But with that, of course, another familiar face. We'll also introduce him, Brother Dab Cabeltis from North Las Vegas, right? North Las Vegas. But yeah, we'll say hi to him. Hi, Brother Dab.
Hello po. It's me again. It's so nice to be back, right? But I appreciate again po that we are here today sharing some experience and some knowledge to you guys. I hope everybody benefits. But with that, I would like to say hello to my family, North Las Vegas, Mountain States, and everyone who's viewing.
All right.
Good evening and maybe good morning po.
Yes, thank you so much, Brother Dap. Brother Dap was here last week with us, so that was really good. Brother Manny was actually going to try to join us last week too. But yeah, they're both here. But I forgot, of course, very, very important. We can't forget him, our director, who is here every week, pretty much every week. So, I was just testing everyone, first year on, right? But yes, we'll go ahead and say hi to him. Hello, Brother Ron.
Hello, everyone. Thank you for joining us this week. And thanks to our guests, Brother Manny and Brother Dap, for joining us.
Yes, thank you so much. Yeah, again, I forgot to mention this before, but Brother Ron was actually in Colorado 2 weeks ago. Yeah, 2 weeks ago. So yes, but yeah, thank you so much. But yes, Team Live Chat, please do join us, and feel free to join us in our discussion. We will make sure to read that. So for now, I guess we want to ask Team Live Chat as well. How do you define work ethic, right? What is a work ethic for you? But yes, we already have some of them, like Brother Ethan Palisog and Kaliana and Kanorma Sonson are also there. But yes, what is a work ethic and what does it mean for you? But yes, so uh, yes. What about so yeah, for me, a work ethic is a personable set of actions, right? Or actions, morals, how we lead our lives when it comes to our work. But our work doesn't necessarily mean our professional work, as we've said in our introduction, but also in our professional or personal lives, right? But for you, brother Manny, how do you define a work ethic? What is a work ethic for you?
Well, like you have mentioned already, sets of values guiding professional behavior, encompassing integrity, responsibility, quality, discipline, teamwork, and most of all, love. I would say,
Love is okay. All right. Thank you for that. Brother Manny, we will go through each of those points and we will ask you why love, because that is very very interesting. Like why love? Because whenever we say work ethic, I think most people wouldn't say love. So we'll talk about that.
oh,
Why we have that. In a little bit we'll go through it. Brother Dap, what about you? What can you say about work ethic? What is work ethic for you? What does it mean for you?
So thanks for the question. Right. So work ethic is for me, personal opinion is how you. It depends how you perceived it, but it's not just hard work,
Mm-hmm.
but also the reason behind your hard work, right? Because that's gonna depend how hard you can work. Depends on how deep is your reason. And so work ethic, po, it's I would say like a daily grind, but you're heading towards a direction while working hard for it.
All right. Thank you for that, brother Dab. Thank you. You've mentioned it again, right? I think that I know last week you mentioned it, but you've also mentioned it in the past. Your why, right? Like getting to know your why. So we'll go through each one of this, like what we've mentioned. We will go through like what it is, the different elements in it, but like actionable that we can do to improve our work ethics. So that's also very important. Please do join us as we go through. So yeah, Team Live Chat, if you miss our question for you, is that how do you define work ethic? If you do have that, please let us know. But we will also go through this discussion and please join us as we go. But yeah, so one of the elements, core elements of work ethic is discipline, self-discipline, which is really important. It's the ability to stay focused and complete tasks even when it's difficult. But beyond that also is starting on a task, because it is hard to start a task, especially if it's a very very difficult task, right? If it's something that you are dreading to do. So rather that with that, I know you like your whys, always finding out your why or always going back to your why, but how do you develop discipline, or why is discipline important in a strong work ethic, in cultivating a strong work ethic?
Yes, but so so, Marie, right? So,
Yeah.
well, discipline, for me is kind of like the oxygen, I would say, of the work ethic thing.
Mm-hmm.
Because I mean, you could be motivated and start something. That's pretty easy. But discipline will really take you to where you want to go. So motivation is just get you started, but discipline will take you there. It's kind of
Mm-hmm.
like the oxygen of work ethic, right? If you
Mm-hmm.
don't, discipline is very necessary. I would say that you can move forward without discipline because things may get tough. If you don't have the right discipline, then you might not get to where you want to go. So yes, but it's very important.
I like that. First step is motivation, but that won't take you far, right? Because maybe motivation will actually dwindle down, right? But if you're disciplined and being able to complete the task, even if it's hard, even if maybe the motivation is not there, so that's why it's very, very important. Like what you said, it's the oxygen, right? Which is like we can't live without oxygen, right? So that's why it's super important. I do want to read Team Live Chat real quick. Other Anthony Arongay from Salt Lake City, Utah. He said, "Work ethic is a personal policy you implement every time, regardless of whether someone's looking or you're by yourself. That is very true. Like, doesn't mean that your boss is looking, your leader is looking, but you're doing it anyway, right? Um, Sister Norma Swanson also said work ethic is the value to strengthen character and individual activities. That's very true too. I like that. Also, just want to say quick hi to Sister Amy Malyari from Globe, Arizona. Brother Manny, what about you? So we talked about discipline, how important that is. The first step is motivation, but that won't get you far. But Brother Dab has mentioned about the discipline, that is the oxygen, that's how why it's so important. But why is it also important dedication that's related to that, which means dedication is consistent effort and staying committed to goals, which means like related to discipline even though it's hard. But why do you think that's important, the dedication?
Well, like what you have mentioned already is also our brother here. Discipline is actually the root, and the you have to be disciplined to in order for you to be focused and be able to um, even overcome no matter how hard the task
Mm-hmm.
may be. And it's just like exercising. I mean, if you don't have that discipline to move to do whatever you have to do in order for you to meet your goal, then motivation and all those things really are just like um, just the sprinklers and the ice cream, I would say. But the discipline is necessary. It's very important that you have that discipline in order for you to accomplish whatever your goals may be.
That's true. That's true. Yeah. So you said it's like an exercise, right? Continuous doing it too. Brother Dap has mentioned about like it's an oxygen. But yeah, you both have mentioned that on why that's important, and you actually both have touched on basically dedication, which means that you're putting consistent effort. Like when you're doing exercise, right? When you're working out, it's not just like one time thing. Yeah, you're consistently doing it, right? I know you're both into, well, I think Brother Manny loves sports. Brother Dab is into working out, I think, right? So it's also dedication, right?
Yes.
Consistent effort, and like staying committed to your goals no matter how difficult it may be. Also, just wanted to add Sister Ellen Dosana saying a strong work ethic can contribute to individual and organizational achievements by driving productivity, fostering employee satisfaction, enhancing a company's reputation. I really love all these answers. So yeah, thank you for joining us, and please continue to join us with our discussion, Brother Ron. So so we've talked about discipline, self-discipline, and dedication, which is basically like tying in together. But I've worked with you a lot because you're our multimedia director, but you're also on INCRadio. You've been with us. You've been our leader, so I know how you work. But yeah, reliability, which is another element of work ethic, a core element of work ethic. Like based on your experience, from you being a non-leader, but also now as a leader, why do you think that's important? Reliability, which means following through on your commitments and being dependable. Like especially as a team member. So yeah, why do you think that's important? Reliability.
Reliability.
Yeah.
Reliability. If you're, if to be reliable, you should be, it's one that's dependable, one that's punctual, one that's consistent in
Mm,
how they work. So, reliability is very important as a work ethic. It's you as again as a team member or even as a leader. It's great to have that reliability to be dependable. To be punctual. You have to be one that's consistent in that kind of work ethic. So
yeah. No. I
Trust,
yeah. Oh, go ahead.
trustworthy also, and keeping your words that when you promise something that needs to be done, it has to be done so that they will the reliability will actually it's always going to be there. I mean,
exactly.
I'm sure that they will push a lot of works to you because you are a reliable person,
Mhm.
but that will
Right.
benefit you in the long run. So
And it also benefits the team too because I
Yeah.
mean, for example, in the workplace, if everyone is reliable, you meet your deadlines. You do. Everyone has
Exactly.
deadlines and
right.
so on. So it's those that aren't reliable where you kind of fail and you fail the team as well.
I agree, Brother Ron and Brother Manny. Yes. So that there's not a bottleneck, right? Especially on a team, right? Everyone is it becomes a success because there's not that bottleneck. But I agree with both of you. Like to be able to be reliable, you're dependent, right? So that trustworthy is there because that when you promise to do something and then you commit to it, but then you actually do it as well, people know that they can rely on you more in the future, and that whatever you say you would do, you'll be able to get done. And I agree with you, Brother Manny. When you are reliable, it tends to happen that maybe more work get put on you, but it does help you in the long run because it helps you to grow more as a person, not just in your personal life but in your professional life, and then you become a leader as well, again, not just in your work, in your company, but also maybe in your volunteer work, right? Even in the church, in our duties. So yeah, those are very important. Brother Manny, you've touched on this, so I will actually just ask you as well. Is that integrity? Integrity is
Yes.
important, which is working with honesty, maybe trustworthiness, and a sense of responsibility. Why do you think integrity is important in work ethic?
Well, integrity is very important because in order for you to accomplish a goal, there are rules that to be followed. There are regulations to be followed, uh, and for integrity, though, do not deviate on those rules and regulations. Otherwise, there will be it's either the legal problems of whatever you're doing or something else that would affect the reliability of that goal that you have. And also, yeah, moral values and honesty and all those things. Like I said, do not deviate from the rules and regulations. No shortcuts, in
Mm,
other words.
like that. Yeah, no shortcuts, right? And don't deviate from those. I really like that. I'm also just wanted to add on to that. What Sister Ellen DeSena has mentioned. Work ethics include punctuality, arriving on time, like what I think it was Brother Ron has mentioned, or maybe Brother Manny. But yeah, uh, punctuality, arriving on time, which is true. I need to work on that. Sorry. Accountability, which is really important. And we talked about that last time. Accountability. If you make a mistake, you should be able to admit it. But they also, oh yeah, she's mentioned it. Accountability, taking responsibility for mistakes, and teamwork, collaborating. That is also very important, which is also what we discussed last week as well. And Sister Donna Grace Palisoc said professionalism is also important. That's very true, right? In our professional life, but in anything that we do. Also just want to do a quick hi to our district minister, actually, new district minister in the District of Mountain States, Father Marlon Valasan. He's actually tuning in. He's saying, great show, INCRadio Mountain States crew, and good day to all the brethren. Hello, Brother Marlon. Thank you so much for being here. Brother Dap, you were here with us last week, and Brother Manny actually touched on it as well. That, like, humility, but why do you think that's important? Why, even though, like, we're talking about, like, professional or your work ethic, which really what we talked about, that is like that everything we talked about earlier: dedication, reliability, self-discipline, integrity. But why is humility also important in work ethic?
Oh, that's a good question, huh? So, all right. So, humility. It's bottom line being humble, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's not only because it's written in the Bible, but because it's the right thing to do. When you're always humble and you're not like bossy, or
Mm-hmm.
you're not like what you call it, boastful or something like that.
Yeah.
Being humble is a good thing. It not only benefits you, but it benefits the people around you, because uh, I would say, you're not what you say you'll do, right?
Mm-hmm.
You are what you do, not what you say you will do.
Oh,
But just holding on to your words and being humble, you should be okay.
yeah. Um, just because you might be doing something for the team, right? Or you're being successful, because people who actually have great work ethic tend to be successful in life. But even though you're able to be successful or you're able to do all these things, and also the more you actually do things, the more you learn how to do things, and then you that's how you become successful. But despite of all of that, it's still very, very important to be humble, and I think that's why it's very important to have humility. Like, why is that important to in a strong work ethic, right, Tim Lachat? Do you agree with that as well? Other Manny, you've mentioned earlier about love, and that's also why I tied in humility with that. But for you, because people wouldn't usually say love as a work ethic, as a part of cultivating strong work ethic. But why do you think love is important? What's your take on that?
Well, in in our world, love, there has to be love in everything that you do. Otherwise, whatever you are trying to accomplish without love, the satisfaction is not going to be as strong as when you're just doing it for whatever reason it is. But you have to have that love also in order for you to smoothly transitioning to that goal.
Yeah.
And everything that we do, even in our as a church member, we are nothing without love. So I figured I put that in there because that is important to
Yeah.
in every aspect of our life.
Yeah, I think that's also Brother Rab. I know he's also mentioned this in the past about knowing your why. I think that ties in together, like knowing your why. But yeah, I agree with you. Maybe when like when you do something, it's not to get uh, like compliments from others, right? But it's for your own take, like I'm doing it because I love it, like for me, I really do love helping others, so that's why for me I do things that I do because I love helping others. It's not because I want the compliments or anything like that. It's really on that. And when we talked about earlier, we'll talk about actionable goals. We'll also go through that. Also, we do want to read from about Brother Anthony Arangay. Reliability, integrity, both of those are key terms even in my line of work for system engineering. You have more confidence in people and things knowing you get your money's worth. That's so true. That's why it's very, very important as well, right? In developing work ethic, but also in leadership. So now we talked about what a work ethic is, what are the core elements, like basically for you, what are the core elements as well. But now we'll talk about habits to build a strong work ethic, right? Because we want to talk about the actionable goals. We want to see how we'll be able to improve because a work ethic, even if you don't have a strong work ethic right now, you can still improve. So yeah, we will be talking about that on this broadcast. How we'll improve it. Team Live Chat. If you do have advices as well, tips on how to build a strong work ethic, like let us know, and we will read them for you. All right, so one of the things that's very important is we talked about it last week, Brother Dab. So we'll start with you on that. Is that we said last week is that even though we love routines, we have to be able to pivot and all of that and be able to adjust. But developing a routine is also important. A daily routine is actually important in building a strong work ethic. So with that, like we build good habits, like maybe starting our day early, setting priorities, staying organized, and that will strengthen our work ethic over time. But yeah, why do you think it's also important to develop daily routines in order to develop a strong work ethic?
Yeah, so routine is very important. Routine makes you like a machine, right? For
Mhm.
example, a car engine. There's a routine for every single part. Just kind of like your day. For example, I plan my day the night
Mhm.
before, and so
Okay.
when I wake up, I try to wake up earlier. But when I wake up, I know exactly where to go. It's like when you start your car, right?
Mm-hmm.
You know where you're going. So kind of like when you start your day, you should actually know where you're going, right? What's gonna happen by this time, by afternoon, by evening. At least things may not be perfect, but at least you have a roadmap.
Mm-hmm.
They call it GPS. But
Yeah.
we're not talking about like big goals, achievement, and stuff like that. We're just talking about the day.
Yeah.
How do you make sure that this 24 hours you have, you make sure you make the most out of it. uh,
Yeah.
you only have 365 days in a year
Yeah.
if you want to be successful. So make every day count. And one of which I would say, if you don't mind, just set your date the night before. Just a few to-do lists. They call it to-do list, right? For example, 3 to 4 lists that you want to accomplish the next day. That will help you a lot. That's gonna be your GPS for the next day. And make sure, one more tip for that. If you have,
Mhm.
for example, you have five on your list, just put numbers. Like
What the most important?
yes,
Okay.
yes, yes. And so you're sure that when you wake up, you know exactly where to start, when to start, and what to start, and you should be able to improve your work ethic with that just simple to-do list. But
I like
And
that.
it also
Yeah,
it
go ahead.
also
That's it.
it also involves the consistency. If you plan your work, your and your routine, it will be the consistency also that you're not you're try to accomplish your time and also to manage your time in order for you to be able to make it without crunching at the end and say, oh, you know what I'm saying,
Yeah,
that
you're
you're
not
trying to
rushing.
right when at the end of your project, for example,
Mhm.
and you didn't plan your the consistent steps of your routine, then at the end you might have forgotten something, or
True.
you didn't wasn't able to do something, so then you have to go back again. So you, it's necessary, like our brother said, you have to make your plans
Mhm.
ahead of time
Ahead of
in
time.
order for you to so that you know already the direction that you are going.
That's so true. Um, I agree. Because when I do plan, and I do actually, I do plan what I'm gonna do. Otherwise, like what Brother Dab and Brother Man have mentioned, if you don't, your day kind of just gets wasted because you're like, oh, like you didn't realize it's already 3 o'clock and you still haven't gotten much done, right? But what I really like about Brother Dab has mentioned is that he said put four tasks, maybe five, and then number them. But remember, he just said 4 or 5. He didn't say put 10, because then what happens when you have 10 tasks, 10 goals for that day? It becomes overwhelming and you probably won't be able to get it done, right? So yes, so Brother Ram has mentioned 4 to 5 goals, and then number them, like what's more important. And then Brother Manny has mentioned it's important. That way you're not rushing and you didn't forget things, like yeah. And then even if you're thinking, oh, but it's just my chores at home, but still, like, right, like it still will take from your time. So that's important to do that, not just in your professional life but also in your personal lives. Also, just want to read some more on team live chat with that. My mom said team collaboration and being a good member, good follower, that shows leadership as well. I agree. We'll talk about that more in our broadcast right now. Sister Melvi Tamayo, attitude is a choice, is always choosing the right one in all that you do in life. Having a set of routine also helps with time management. You actually touched on what things you want to talk about, Sister Melby, so that's really good. Sister Ellen DeSena also said to improve your work ethic, be professional, be productive, manage your time. Again, we're going to talk about that, so that's good. Be responsible and have integrity. Sister Jasmine Bayabo from Blue Diamond says, great topic. These days, good, strong work ethic is not seen as much. Very refreshing to have these reminders and guidance to build ourselves up. So we're talking about time management, which is basically what Brother Dab and Brother Manny have touched on. Brother Ron, why do you think that's important? So time management, there are things that we can actually do with that, right? So putting uh, goals for you for your next day. But also, I just want to quick thing. This has really helped me, everyone. So this might help you too. Is that when I can accomplish a task within 5 minutes, maybe 10 minutes, I don't put it off. I get it done right there. That way, it doesn't get more added to my task. And then I'm like, oh, now I'm so overwhelmed because I have all these tasks. But then they're super simple, so I could have just done 5 to 10 minutes. So it's actually gonna be easier if I just do it right then. But it's also a win, right? So yeah, with that, Brother Ron, you are a busy guy, especially before you're retired now, but before, with your work, but also with your duties. But what's your tips for time management? Because we talked about that. Team Live Chat has actually mentioned it a lot. But what's your tip for time management?
For time management, you mentioned like your task, it could be small and so on. Definitely, don't waste time, as Brother Dap said. We only have 24 hours in a day, 365 days in a year. The Take care of the small rocks. Get those out of the way, and then accomplish. You'll have more time to focus on the big rocks. And it's set goals that you know you can do. You know, if you set too many goals or too many things, it's hard because there may be other things that will get in the way, other disruptions you may have. You know, so and it's out of your control. But you have to set clear goals and goals that you know you can accomplish. Don't
Don't
uh,
overdo it. Yeah,
do it exactly.
Yes.
because then it
And
becomes overwhelming. Oh yeah, because
I'd like to
go ahead, Brother Manny.
I'd like to add to the time management.
Mm-hmm.
There's a saying, even when I was young, I've heard it already that do not uh, forth
Oh,
put tomorrow, or don't work tomorrow what you can do today, or
yeah,
something in that sense. Yeah,
I agree.
whatever you can do today, do it today, not tomorrow. So
Yeah,
that because that's what the habit of having becoming procrastinator. If you, oh, I can do that tomorrow, but
yeah,
with all the things that we do every day, don't add more to the task that you have already have planned tomorrow to the
mm,
ones that you can do today.
I agree. Yeah, because when you have that habit of just do it tomorrow, next thing you know, you have all these tasks that you're gonna wait to do tomorrow, and now you can't accomplish them, right? So, even if it's like a few minutes today, like just get them started. I just also there's this technique. Not sure if everyone is aware, so we'll impart this to the viewers and also to our team panels here. Is that time blocking? um like, and then so basically I don't know if team panels, if you know it better than I do, please let me know. But also team large and let us know. But time blocking, which I think you actually have a set time and then you have a task right there to do. But also is that I think they call it Pomodoro technique. But also with that, you do a task. It might not work for everyone, okay? So, but the Pomodoro technique is that you start a time, your stopwatch or whatever, right? You do it for like full, I don't know, 60 minutes or whatever. I can't remember how long, but yeah, you do it for a set time. You do it without distraction. I think I actually read that from Team Live Chat. They said something about like eliminate.
25 minutes po.
Is it 25 minutes only? Okay. And then how
5 minutes break.
many minutes? 5 minutes break?
Mhm.
Okay. So 25 minutes to do your task, no distraction, and then 5 minutes, like you do a break. Um, if you also go like, there's actually on the internet, they actually have that. So you'll be able to follow that if that makes it easier for you, and also some music. But yeah, the Pomodoro technique works a lot for a lot of people, so that could also work for you. But we also mentioned it earlier with Brother Dap, prioritizing your task. So like what's more important, right? So go through with that. And then also is that time blocking. I think time blocking is very important as well, because you know what you want to maybe accomplish in that time frame, so you'll be able to do that. But also one of the tips that I can also offer based on my experience is that um divide your task, like maybe, oh wait, actually Brother Ron has actually mentioned it, that set clear actionable goals. So like being able to define your long-term and short-term goals, but also being able to, I also think about it, like in career there's this called project management, and you divide your tasks to smaller tasks. But in your personal life you can do that as well, right? That's also important to be able to do that. Also, just one quick tip, because Brother Manny has mentioned it. Why wait to do it tomorrow when what you can do today? So I don't know who does it, but I've heard it from a lot of my friends. Is that when there's some of them, or a lot of them actually, after they do their laundry, the next step is to put it away, right? Apparently, not everyone put it away right there. And I can guarantee you, if you don't put it away, you just see it right there. It's just gonna keep adding more to your head on what you need to accomplish, and it's just not clean. It's clutter, and it's actually hindering you, and it's just another procrastination. So I'm gonna give a quick tip on that. If you do that, just put it away, right? Yeah. But also another thing that we can do in order to build a strong work ethic is stay accountable. Brother Manny, why do you think that, or how do you stay accountable? So basically, like staying accountable is that you mentioned it earlier, is that when you promise to do something in a team, you work through. But what if it's difficult? So how are you able to stay accountable? Like even though the task might be difficult. Especially though, if you mess up and you drop the ball, how do you stay accountable with that and like admit it, even though it's hard?
Yes, Sister Marie, being accountable is to be able to relied upon um, the the goals or the task that is being uh, pushed for to you to accomplish, and you also have to have a an open communication in order to, so that everybody, let's say in a group of people, you cannot just because you think you can do it on your own better than anybody. That doesn't mean that you don't involve people in your circle. They need to be to also be involved in order for that for the goal or the project to be perfect or to be able to finish it in a timely manner, and there's no and also accepting other suggestions from your group,
Mm.
and also be able to learn. I mean, as a human being, we also, I mean, we are learning every day. So to be able to learn from other people as well in your circle, whether it's in our settings as church members, we have other, in our organization, there are uh, people or brethren who are assigned different tasks, and to be able to complete those without their help, or if you are just doing it alone on your own, you won't
Mhm.
be able to uh, do it, and you have to be accountable to answer
For your
for
own
all
task.
the
Yeah.
right.
Yeah. It's true. And I like what you said. So, to get better in being accountable is to communicate with your team, right?
Yes,
Maybe if you're running a little late, you should say it already, right? If you are struggling maybe on a task, then say it. Get help. That way, as a team, you become successful. You're not that bottleneck on why it's not getting accomplished. Like everyone's already done, and then you still haven't gotten it done. So yeah, communication is very important, and don't think of it as a failure, right? It just means that, like what you said, Brother Manny, is that you're learning. So maybe there's a task that's a little difficult for you, so it's okay to admit that to the team, right? And being able
right,
to be honest and have that accountability that, hey, I'm struggling, hey, I need help, hey, I'm running late, but at least everyone is aware, and that no one is getting frustrated, the peace is there, and that as a team we become successful. Just want
right.
to read. Thank you for that, Brother Randy. So, Team Live Chat also said here, Brother Anthony Rangay, I've read somewhere that it takes at least 21 consistent repetitions before you can keep a habit. So that is a lot. Also read, I think it takes 30 days to keep a habit, or to change a habit. Sister Norma Johnson said, great time management. My mom said being proactive. That's true. We will talk about that. Um, Oh, Brother Anthony also said, I've also read that to build a habit, we can do 5 things. Start small, increase gradually, break into chunks, get back on track, and be patient. So, get back on track means, you might be failing on some days, but don't worry about it. Just get back on track and be patient, even if you're not successful right away. And then Sister Norma Sonson also mentioned, finding out your priorities and set them according to their importance. That is true. That is not always easy, okay? But prioritizing your task, but you learn and you pivot. That's why I'm a big fan of pivoting, being able to adjust as needed. And also, just a quick thing on your routines, don't feel bad if it doesn't work right away. You keep adjusting, and like, stay patient. It will happen. And rather on, you are a leader. So why do you think it is important to take initiative, for your team? So first of all, everyone, taking initiative means you are seeking out challenges and opportunities to go beyond what expected in your roles. So that also includes, like someone's asking, hey, anyone can do this? Any volunteer? But yeah, why do you think that's important? Especially, what's your advice to those who may have a hard time taking initiative because they're worried they can't do the task?
Well, taking the initiative is it's a good habit to have because it's a good work ethic.
Mhm.
You definitely have to challenge yourself. Don't be afraid to take challenges, but taking an initiative, if you challenge yourself, you learn from that, and you even you learn more, you grow stronger. So it's good to, we all hear the term level up.
Mm-hmm.
We should all try to level up in everything that we do and try to reach for those high standards. Don't just stay mediocre or just down below, or just always try to do better each time. So take the initiative to do that. It's, I know for some it may be scary, it may
Mm-hmm.
be something that they're scared to do because they have no knowledge of it or experience, but that's where you gain the experience. You take that step
Exactly.
and get that experience, so that the next thing, the next task that you do, you won't have any problem. Just be positive, be um, positive in everything that you take on, and you know it'll be great. It just don't be afraid.
Yeah, don't be afraid.
And
Yeah,
and,
go ahead,
initi-
Brother Ben.
and initiative also, something that you would do without somebody tells you that, oh, you
Exactly.
need to do this.
Yeah.
If there's something that needs to be done, that you know it needs to be done,
Mm-hmm.
but don't wait until someone will tell you that, hey, can you do
Yeah.
this? Or
Yeah.
let's say there's something, there's in your vehicle, for example, and you're driving, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you go into a place, but at the same time, you your better half, or a family member will say, "Oh, I was gonna go and pick this up, but I had to do it after I come home from work." Now, the initiative comes in when you go and do it. You know what to get it, so that it won't take another person to do it. If you
Mm-hmm.
can do it, do it. That's
Do it.
that's that's
Yeah.
correct. Yes.
Yeah. Did
Yeah.
you want to say something, Brother Ron? Go ahead.
No, another thing about taking an initiative too is that it helps motivate the others.
The team.
It,
Yeah. The
the
other.
team,
Yeah. Yeah.
exactly. So if they see you working hard and taking that
Mm-hmm.
challenge,
Yeah.
it helps the whole team as well, and they all get motivated. So morale is brought up,
Going
and
up. Yeah.
we all accomplish that goal that we're trying to do.
Yes.
Exactly. The more you get from it, right? Also just wanted to add, for those who may be afraid to take initiative because you're worried you can't do it, trust me, I was the same way as you. I'm very introvert. I get scared easily. But again, going back to why, right? My why is I just want to help, right? So for me, I've always wanted to help. So at first, I was always worried about taking initiative because what if I don't know how to do the task? But that first step, as you do it more, actually it gets better. And also remember this, because it's a team or even at work, when you take initiative doesn't mean you're on your own. Taking initiative just means you will say you will do it, but that doesn't mean you won't get help or how to do it, like being able to learn from others. So getting that, being taking initiative means you can also ask for help. So don't be afraid to help, no, to ask for help. But also, last week we talked about embrace your failures. So with that, when you take initiative for a task that you don't do normally do, or beyond out of your scope of your role, you still be able to do it. Just don't be afraid to fail, because like there might be things that you may not know how to do right away or be successful at it, but you get better, you get stronger, right? What brother Ron has also mentioned. All right, so we talked about those things, like what is work ethic, how to build a strong work ethic, but now we'll talk about like how to push through and how to stay with that strong work ethics, right? So one of the things is that staying motivated, even though it's difficult, the task is difficult, but maybe there are setbacks. Maybe you just recently failed, or maybe things are going on in your life. So yeah, so um, focusing on your long-term goals and celebrating small wins. Brother Dap, how do you stay motivated even if, or maybe your advice to others? I think you've gone through this, right? Like I think we talked about it actually off air, but yeah, or maybe on air, I can't remember. But yeah, how do you stay motivated despite of the difficult times, because we know that we will go through them, right?
Yeah, so thanks, Sister Marie. So, staying motivated is not easy, right? You have to find it within you. So you can look it for others. You can't look it up anywhere but within yourself. You have to know, you have to be self motivated, but to do that, you have to have reasons, like I told you earlier. Like
Yeah.
for example, you feel like, for example, you today you wake up, right, or you woke up, you don't feel like doing it, you don't feel like doing the work that you should do,
Mm-hmm.
right? But for example, just think about, if there are people related to what you do, or people are concerned, who would you be letting down if you don't succeed, right? Who would you be letting down if you don't push through? I
Right.
think that would, if you have that reason, if it's family, if it's children, or maybe spouse, or whoever
Mhm.
it is, I think if you're doing it for someone else, you're gonna push further, right? You're gonna push further, and then whatever happens, I would say take full responsibility. Stop blaming, stop pointing out fingers,
Yeah.
and always remember that if things get tough, it's just mental strength. I say, motivation is mental strength. Just think about, maybe there's a wall behind you, and what you can do is
Mm,
just push
true.
forward. You can't do backwards. Just keep moving forward. Mhm.
Yeah, it's true. Like earlier, the very first thing we talked about, right, Brother Dap, is that um, the motivation is only it's I mean it's not the oxygen, right? So it's not the discipline. So motivation is a good thing, but that's not what will carry us through. So yeah, so it's important to be able to push through. So when you don't have that motivation, like what you said, Brother Dap, you can't look for it from others, right? You can't wait for someone to motivate you. Also, what Brother Manes mentioned earlier about the taking an initiative, right? Doesn't necessarily, it doesn't, don't wait for someone to tell you, oh, you gotta do it. Like, you gotta find it in you, right? So being able to be able to continue to be able to stay motivated, find everything you, because the tasks are, I would say, mostly not easy. I think I would say, like, I mean, I for me, even though I get my task done, it's not like what you see behind the scene, which means what you see behind my brain, or like before I present you this result, is that there's a lot of, I gotta do it, I gotta push through, like yeah, and like what you said, no one can do it for you, so it has to be you, find it within you. Like what Sister Norma Sonson has
Yes, yes.
mentioned as well, develop a set morning routine to keep you motivated. Brother Manny, did you want to
And
add?
and motivation is um, the satisfaction at the end. What is that accomplishment? What does it do? What the result of that, of your motivation? What does it do to you?
Yeah.
Let's say us, for members of the Church of Christ, we are all waiting. We
Mhm.
are patiently waiting, enduring in between.
Yep.
But what is our motivation? The greater that greater reward that we will receive, right? That
Mhm.
is the motivation. Because without that, if you're just almost like punching air. If you don't
Yes.
have that motivation to reach that goal or the accomplishment that will help, whether your company or your personal goals that you've set for yourself or for your family. Without those things, the work that you do is not really, you don't have that satisfaction at the end. But
Yeah.
if you struggle, you work hard. Then again, we talk about work ethics. You work really hard, and then at the end, what do you reap at the end?
Yeah.
Um, we For the young ones that are listening, now that you are still in the stage of going to school,
Mhm.
working, you have so many years in your life to work hard. Are you gonna give up? And at the end, once you are reached that end of your career, and you will start reaping what you have worked hard for, it will
Mhm.
be a satisfaction for yourself and for your family.
It's true. That's why it's important to always know your long-term goals, right? Don't
Yes.
deviate from that. Maybe your small goals will deviate, will change. Because we pivot, right? But don't forget that long-term goals. Like what you said, as Brother Man. So thank you for that. Also, just want to quickly say hi to Brother Justin Ramos, who's tuning in from Arizona, but also Sister Cat, Leia de Guzman, all the way from New Jersey. And she's actually part of INCRadio New Jersey. So thank you so much for tuning in. Brother Anthony also has mentioned we have so many brethren here in our team live chat that have developed a good habit of logging in to listen to IC Radio out of state. So yeah, I agree with that. Thank you so much for that. But yeah, so We talked about that stay motivated by always thinking about your long term goals as well. But this is true, and a lot of us probably struggle with this. Is that related to be to stay motivated, being able to push through, but the battling procrastination. So how do you overcome that, brother Dap? Like with the battling procrastination, because it's not always easy. So like next thing we know, we keep putting it off. Especially it's something. Oh, I see your face. Especially we see it as like we're dreading the task. So how do we do it so that way we're not rushing, like what brother Manes mentioned? Let's see.
Yes, so Brother Manny mentioned about procrastination earlier, like do today and don't leave it up for tomorrow.
Mhm.
That's good. That's good. I mean, that has to be done, but be careful with that too. I would say because you might be doing. But I would say, okay, let's do it this way. Okay, so I would say call it intentional procrastination.
Mm, okay,
You
let's
can
see.
procrastinate some things that are really not important,
Less urgent.
less urgent, less important. Because you mentioned urgent, right? There's so many things that are urgent, right?
Mhm.
Yeah, you go through your day, there's so many things that you hear here and there, urgent, 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 but not everything is important. You know,
Oh, I see what you mean. Yeah,
yes, yes, like someone's emergency, could
might not
could
be.
be, it's
Yeah,
not your priority, right?
that's true. That's true.
But anyways, you get what I'm saying. You can procrastinate on things that can wait, can really wait, and then so you can focus more on the things that you should do for you, for your family, and for your work.
I like that. Yeah. For example, I will add to that is that, for example, my work, like being in my career, I handle a lot of labs, right? Laboratories. So in that, that's kind of like clients, right? So for them, it's always urgent, right? But how do you know which one is most important? And you're right, Brother Dap. Like if you think about it, maybe everything is urgent, right? But so we prioritize the most important out of all of those, because when we are not careful of not finding out what is the most important, and we try to just get everything done, remember you said you set a task, 4 to 5 tasks in a day. That's manageable. But I know a lot of people, Team Live Chat, come on, like, agree with me here. If you know you've made these mistakes in the past, or you're still making these mistakes, I know your to-do list is big. Like that is actually the first time I've heard 4 to 5 tasks. I've never heard that. That is actually a life changer. So as true about that. So because when you don't realize what is most important, and you don't really like get into that details, is that you have all these important tasks that you have to do, and you can't really juggle them all, right? And then it gets too much, and then that actually leads to burnout, right? If you're doing everything, all of that, so yeah, sure, for example, oh yeah, go ahead, brother Dap. You go first before
Yeah,
I ask.
sorry. Just to
Yeah,
add to
yeah,
that,
yeah,
if
go
you
ahead.
guys if you guys heard about the Pareto principle, the 80-20,
Mhm.
that's gonna help you a lot. The 20% of what you do is actually bringing you the 80% of everything else. That's a pretty good book. That's a pretty good concept to learn. I would suggest that 80-20 rule. Mhm.
Which means you do 20%, and then is that basically what the concept is?
Yes, yes. Like for everything that you do, only 20% are giving the 80% of your results.
Wow. Okay, that's a really good thing. I
So
think
that
that,
will help you. That will help you really nail down to what really is bringing you the results.
yeah, that's true. Being efficient, right? Instead of like just grind through it all. So yeah, I like that, being efficient. That is so true. So yeah, like what I've said, that leads to burnout when we accomplish everything. For example, like what I said in my work, everyone is saying it's urgent, but I'm like, okay, like yeah, you think it's urgent, but I know it's not that urgent, So I'm sorry, I have to prioritize here. Otherwise, I'll get burned out at work, right? So yeah, other on we mentioned, earlier, you've been so busy, especially when you were working. How do you make sure, especially before or even now, you're still really busy? How do you make sure that you don't get burned out? How do you avoid burnt out? It's part of the many tasks that we have to do in life. And yeah, people have to.
Well, one thing to do is to balance your time. You especially in the workplace. Yeah, there's so many urgent things that would come through, but you try your best, you put in your 20% and so on. But what you have to do too, and so that you don't get burnt out, is to take a break. If you need to step away from your desk, your computer, that actually helps you to recharge. What I used to do when I was working, I would take breaks. It was a routine basically. I would walk around our campus and so
Mhm.
on, just so that I can just refresh, rethink, and recharge, so that when I do go back to my desk, I can tackle whatever the task is. So balancing your time, and
Yeah,
as well as your time, not even in the workplace or even with your duties and so on, you have to balance your time uh, with your family,
yeah,
and take that time to spend time with them. And for me, I like to get out. That's my escape, is to get out, go out in nature, go take a walk, and so on. So
There
it
goes your
helps.
hobbies. There goes the
Exactly.
hobbies, brother.
Yeah, so that's where you balance your work and your hobbies, and that's why we have hobbies, is so that you can take on your task. But you have to do that. That's if you just put all your time into your work, it just doesn't get you anywhere except to get burned out, basically.
exactly. Yeah.
And also adding to that, brother
Mhm.
Ron, is to those who are working, not remotely, the ones that are working in an office. Don't when you're at work, just your work. Don't bring home your work with you, or
Yeah,
don't bring home your personal problems or troubles with you to work. So because a lot of times, sometimes we want to get everything done, and then so we have to bring, whether the troubles at work, we bring it at home. Then you'll be stressed out. So as soon as you stepped out of your office, that
it's
should be
done.
it. That's right. It's done right there. You go back again tomorrow. I
Yeah,
mean, it's not procrastinating because you are done with your
yeah, your
task.
day. Yeah,
Right.
yeah, because
But don't bring it with you, because it creates also problems with the family if you bring your work with
true.
you at home.
It's true. Yeah, and work will never stop, right? Yeah. So that's why it's important to relax, reward yourself, but also important to relax. When we talked about hobbies before, we said that we have to make time for it. So that's why it's important to make time for it. Like put that in your time. Also, just wanted to touch this on real quick is that on the procrastination, break your task into smaller pieces and then set deadlines. But honestly, when you just get started on a task as well, in order to stay motivated, is that you actually be able to do it already, and you realize, oh, it's not as hard as I thought it would be. But yeah, those are the things that we do in order to cultivate a strong work ethic. But just a quick touch on the benefits of a strong work ethic. Of course, in career we will advance, right? Like as we go up the career ladder, if that's what we want, but also just a lot of opportunities, maybe different projects that we have, right? But also personal growth and fulfillment. We're able to develop a strong work ethic, that is not just because what others will say about us. Like that's actually not the most important. It's what we feel about ourselves, that we're always able to accomplish tasks and that we feel like we are reliable. And then of course we build a positive reputation amongst others, right? Being able to do that. But yes, everyone, so thank you so much for joining us. Strong work ethic is really important, whether in our personal or professional life. Being a hard worker opens more doors of opportunities to succeed far in life. Above all else, having a strong work ethic allows us to succeed in the performance of our duties. We must remember that in all things, especially in our service to our almighty God, we must continue to work wholeheartedly and give all the glory to our almighty God. We also just want to say thank you to the important people in our lives who have allowed this INCRadio Mountain States to happen. Of course, we'll start with our beloved Executive Minister, Brother Eduardo V. Manalo, our CEO and President of SEPSI, and our CFO Coordinator, Brother Angelo Irani Manalo, our Executive Producer, Brother Manly Andaya, our District Minister, new District Minister in the District of Mountain States, Brother Marlon Balason, Assistant District Minister here is Brother Oliver Canlas, our CFO Overseer, Brother Christian Ross, our District Multimedia Advisor, Brother Justin Ramos, and of course the whole District Multimedia team. But of course, especially you who are always tuning in here on Answer Radio. We really do appreciate you. Fortunately, that is all the time that we have. We hope that you have learned today. Thank you so much, Team Livejet, for joining. Of course, Team panelists, thank you for tuning in to another episode of Answer Radio Mountains. We will see you again next week, same time. Please continue to tune into Answer Radio DZM 954, changing lives through God's words. Up next, everyone, is Answer Radio Canada. Thank you, everyone. Take care.
This is INCRadio, DZEM 954, the voice of truth, the official radio station of the Church of Christ or Iglesia ni Cristo.